Hey guys, this video is a little bit different as it didn't quite pan out the way that I expected. I wanted to play some Classic Cube Minecraft on this machine. It is technically possible, but for reasons you'll see in this video, it didn't work. Partially because the machine is actually starting to fail. So I know this video isn't going to have a great payoff, but if your iMac G3 is having symptoms similar to mine, it's a sign that it probably needs to get fixed. I won't be able to fix this for a while, but rest assured, as soon as I am able to fix it, I will. A disclaimer before the video starts. This video does contain images of a flickering CRT. If you are sensitive to this kind of video footage, viewer discretion is advised. Hello and welcome to CobaltRetroShop. Hope you're having an amazing day. Yes, Bender the iMac G3 makes a return. Usually keep this in storage, but I really missed Bender. So, yeah, I thought I'd bring him out for some shenanigans. Now, the keen-eared among you might notice that this room is slightly louder than usual. Here's a clue right here. So I actually have connected to the iMac G3, please excuse the mess, my PowerMac G5. I have this sitting in target disk mode, and I'm about to see whether or not I can boot from the PowerMac G5 through the FireWire channel, and we are going to go from there. And I'm doing this primarily because I want to run Mac OS X on here for a couple of different reasons. Mostly because there's some software that I want to run with a CRT-based computer, but are a little bit too new for Mac OS 9. But I also don't necessarily want to install Mac OS 9 or Mac OS 10 on here. Well, hello. Don't worry, the lack of a chime for this computer is normal. I didn't outright disable the chime, but it's definitely... Ooh, hold on a second. It didn't even occur to me that I could use the disk drive from a Power Mac like this. I was just going to boot straight into the hard drive, which, yes, we're about to do that right now. I think it's just about to work. I shouldn't have said anything. Of course it's gonna kernel panic. And may I point out that the boot picker somehow is a lot faster here on the iMac G3 than the Power Mac, which... okay. And it's gonna kernel panic, right? Yeah, of course it is. Okay, so there's a slight change of plans. This video is kind of slowly evolving with some different things that I am thinking that I can do with this thing. A slight update. The iMac itself does not want to go into target disk mode despite the fact that this thing does have FireWire ports and, as far as I am aware, should support target disk mode on itself. The idea was that I could go into my Power Mac and put those files directly into the iMac, with the iMac being in target disk mode, but for some reason that's not working. I'm not sure if I'm doing it incorrectly or if it genuinely just doesn't support it for whatever reason. I'm not sure. Finder has unexpectedly... Oh! I saw a disk. Okay. Interesting development. Maybe I will be able to boot Mac OS X on here. Yeah, here's the Tiger volume. I don't understand. Why isn't it working? It's FireWire. If anything, it should boot with FireWire. I know that's a feature that Macintoshes have done for a very long time. Well, up to this point at least. So I've plugged the Power Mac back into the iMac under target disk mode here. And we're gonna see if I can get it to boot that way. Oh, come on. Oh, don't tell me it froze. Really? Uh-oh. I'm hearing a high-pitched noise. I hope that doesn't mean a cap is gonna explode. I just got an idea that might work. Maybe? I'm not even sure at this point. Because I can't put the iMac into target disk mode. For some reason, it refuses to do that. And every single way that I've tried to boot from FireWire is failing. Even though we saw the drive, mount and everything like that, and it did boot on the Power Mac. This whole project has been a whole thing and a half for me. Things kept not working, but I'm even more determined to get this to work now because Action Retro just opened up his Classic Cube server for his patrons, which I am one of them. So I want to be able to play Classic Cube on this thing. It's going to be awesome, but I need to get Tiger running on this first. Screw the Shuriken, I could probably do that later at some point in the future. I just want Tiger going on here. So, I have the Power Mac ready for target disk mode again after trying a couple of different ISOs for getting that installed, medium booted. So I'm going to go ahead and get that going here. Hey! There we go. It doesn't prove that it works, but at least it's picking up the target disk mode. This is what we want. I verified that this is Tiger. I think I was screwing around with Leopard without even realizing it. Just gonna hope this boots up. I don't know why it's running the disk drive. This is not a CD. Whoa! Hello there, Tiger! This is awesome. I should be able to install Tiger in a way that preserves macOS 10. You must update your computer's firmware. Ooh. I don't know how to do that. I don't know what happened, but the video is slightly blue now. I didn't expect that to happen. Yeah, compare that picture from earlier. That's not right. So yeah, apparently this iMac needs a firmware update before touching Mac OS X, or at least 10.4. I'm following a guide on the Macintosh repository. I was also able to download the firmware from that site on my Power Mac. So now I got a USB connected to the iMac, and I should be able to start that process. That also doesn't look right, but as long as it works. I see a cursor, and the cursor can move. Guys. Okay. Yeah, there's something wrong with the CRT circuitry here. I might have to use VGA here if this breaks anymore. It's usable, but there's definitely something wrong with Bender here. That's... Ew. It's gotten to the point where I gotta poke the reset button every time I want to turn this thing back on. Yeah, this thing is definitely having issues. This is the most broken piece of technology I own. uh, One day I'll be able to fix this machine, but it's not going to be for a long time, unfortunately. Now every time I look at the screen, I'm getting sad. I hate to say it, but things like this just naturally happen with pretty much any kind of technology. This kind of failure, though, is a little bit more specific to CRTs, though. Perhaps if I can't source any replacements for the CRT-related stuff, I might be able to figure out how to LCD mod this thing. But I would rather keep the CRT because that's like part of the charm of this thing. I'll think about it. I have plenty of time before I can actually do that anyways. Come on. Load the USB drivers. Oh, this is getting more green. I don't like this. Verifying. Oh, I thought that was a macOS 10 thing. Oh, now it opens in macOS 9. What the hell? Okay, we are continuing the saga here. I should be able to do this now since it's had a little bit of time to cool off. Okay. I think we're good. Need this display to work, though. Come on, Bender. I hear clicks in there, so it's trying to do something. Is the display dead now? It's not turning back on. Okay. Okay, we got something. Now, is the firmware installed? Because I may have interrupted that install process, which may or may not be a problem. Well, it still seems to be booting, so that's something. Yeah, that display is slowly getting worse, I think. But as long as it works for the intended purpose. At least it's turning back on now instead of the comatose state it likes to have. Your machine's firmware was not updated. I'm not surprised. It is not wanting to use the mouse, though, which is a little bit of a problem. Okay, come on. There we go. Okay. Alright, let's try this again. I reread the instructions on the Macintosh repository website. I'm supposed to, let's see, hold it down until I hear a tone. Press the power button. Continue to hold the programmer's button until you hear a long tone. Release the programmer's button when you hear the tone. The update should start automatically. The status bar shows the progress of the update when the message says that your firmware has successfully updated to 4.1.9. You were finished. Okay. I'm glad restarting the machine like that didn't totally break it. I was playing with fire there. Okay. It should be updating the firmware now. I really hope it turns on the display. So if that's the case, I'm going to be waiting a while for it to finish. Gotten Classic Cube to work on the G5. Now I need to figure out if I can get the G3 here. Get the G3 to boot tighter. So I can wait a little bit. I just barely missed it. It beeped 3 times. I'm not sure if that means it's because something went wrong. Oh boy. It's done that before, so I think something went wrong. Yep. Yeah, the display died on me. Crap! Monitor's optimum resolution is 1600 by 900, which the iMac's display was not set at the time of the display's death. And this one does not support that low resolution either. So, yeah. Until I can get this thing fixed, Bender's display is dead. Okay, well, my time with this iMac is apparently gonna be full of ups and downs. Because I could have sworn this display was about to die, but apparently it's still living. When I first booted up this machine after trying to apply that firmware update, the display wouldn't turn back on at all. And then I put the machine to sleep trying to turn it off. And then I brought it out from sleep mode and the display initialized. However, because this happened, I can now go into the monitor display panel and put it to 1024 by 768. And you can see it's going on that display over there. But I kind of want to focus on this. Okay, nope. That's a little too stroby for me. 1024 by 768 is the only resolution that this monitor will support that my iMac can do. So, that's going to be interesting trying to go back and forth the built-in display and this guy. Well, at least now that we can actually see what's going on. So, yeah, this is still Bender's operating system environment. And, again, it wasn't successful doing the firmware update, so I'm going to go ahead and run this again, or at least attempt to. And I'm going to try and turn this thing back on as soon as possible so I can at least try to get something from the screen during the update process. I've got it going here. It's gonna say it should beep. Now we're gonna see what happens on either display. Nothing on this side yet. I wonder if this display problem is actually getting in the way of me updating the firmware. It says there's supposed to be a progress bar, and I don't see anything. I just restarted again. I think that might clear whatever firmware patch is going on. Okay. I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to be able to update the firmware on this thing. That's disappointing. At least not until I can figure out what the hell's going on. Which that might be a long time before I could do that. Yep, the display's not initializing again, but at least it's working over here, kind of. Clicking on and off a couple of times. What the hell is going on? There's a little bit of a moire pattern that I'm actually not getting on the camera. It seems to be booting up. Let me guess, it didn't actually apply the firmware. Yep. Yep, there's the triple beep. Something with this display problem is affecting its ability to update the firmware, which is really weird. I wonder if there's a way I could like manually update the firmware with open firmware or something. So apparently this display can display the open firmware, which is essentially a text-only environment for PowerPC Macs. I just watched a video from Old Skull IT doing essentially this exact same thing, and my unit is definitely not doing what it's supposed to be doing. Which I suspected after I realized that the 3 beeps is probably some kind of error code. So I'm going to keep trying, but I have a feeling that there's something preventing me from actually updating the firmware. I think it's theoretically possible to apply the firmware through here, but I'm not 100% sure. I've heard it has to be through macOS 9. Okay, it just hardware restarted when I did that Mac boot command, which is interesting. I expected it to just boot macOS. So because open firmware worked over here, I think that the firmware update should also at least try to do something video-wise over here. But for whatever reason, it's not doing anything. Let me guess, it didn't work? Nope. Okay. Well, let's try this again. I doubt it's gonna work. Come on, Bender. You know you wanna. Okay, at this point, if it beeps 3 times again, I give up. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and you can check out some of the links I have in the description, including my own music, music from Happy to Be Here, the CobaltRetroShop, and the CobaltRetroTech Patreon page that starts at $1 a month. Speaking of the Patreon page, I do have to thank Kilo supporter Indian Mac for supporting the channel. Your support makes CobaltRetroTech possible. Thank you. And with all that being said, I'll see y'all in the next